Hello, today I'm going to go over how we applied this suture makeup. This is a prosthetic that Leah and I sculpted together. It's part of the Freakmo and Dabbledark collection, which is now available for sale. I'll link it in the description below. So if you want to buy this prosthetic and apply it at home, or if you want to buy the mold and fill it and apply it at home, they're both available for sale. So I'll link those in the description. Whoa, sorry, earthquake, too excited. Wow. And in this video, I'm going to show you how we apply it. So how to apply a thin silicone prosthetic like this, how to suture it, how to color match the skin tones and get these nice edges so it looks realistic, and then how to do the subtle kind of fresh, bloody thing that you see going on here. We've got this piece here, which I just sutured. We're going to play around with the positioning to see what looks interesting, where you want to apply it. It's kind of feeling something maybe like on the side, or maybe on the inner side. You can do something like coming up around the thumb.
That was good actually.
Yeah, that could be cool. Yes. Yeah, let's do that.
We're done, we're sorted.
Sorted. Winner. Okay. Before we start, make sure the skin is clean so you can prep it with a witch hazel toner. If you need to use a skin barrier product or a sweat stop product, you can put those on now as well. All right, we're going to apply with Telesis 5 and thinner. Silicone adhesive, very expensive, very nice. Definitely not necessary. You can apply with Prosaide at home. Okay, so let's get some adhesive and some thinner together. And I'm just gonna, actually I'm just gonna put like a big block of adhesive down over this area. Just to anchor this and down the center, and then we'll glue it all around the all around the cap plastic edges.
We'll keep the flashing and remove the piece in the middle.
Yeah, we get the flashing, get rid of that whole silicone thing in the center. Don't need that. I feel like it might have been wrapping around a little bit more. Looks to be a good movement test as well, because the hand moves around a lot. This isn't necessarily where we designed for it to go, but you know, we're just having some fun.
I think that proves the versatility of the piece as well.
Yeah. When we're looking at photos, it was around the lower arm area.
But because the profile is so low, it can sit nicely on different areas of the body.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Can go where you want it to go.
Can go where you want it to go and do what you want to do.
Is that theme song?
Yeah, that's the theme song for today.
So I'm just gluing it in pieces, trying to make sure there's no air bubbles underneath, because it's kind of the main problem that I have when I apply. So I'll get air bubbles underneath, not realize. Show up later, irritate the hell out of me. So I'm just kind of working my way out. It's like up in here, all of that's not glued down. Make sure that it's glued down and try and chase any air bubbles out.
I don't think this is going to need much colour matching.
Yeah, it's looking pretty close, yeah.
Like, where is it?
Good in terms of colouring. Whoop, whoop. All right, let's wrap this around. So just focusing on trying to smooth this all the way out to the edge and get smooth cap plastic edges as well. Make sure it's all glued down by having just like skin tone coming through. Minimize any crinkles in the cap plastic by stretching it out slightly, repositioning it if it gets any weirdness happening. Because this is a cap plastic prosthetic, we have a little bit of wiggle room to lift it up and reposition it if we need to. So you have any little areas that look like folded over or they want to be a pain in the butt, you can just lift it up with some of the Telesis 5 thinner or just some iso alcohol, reposition them down.
Although you couldn't do the same thing if the prosthetic was encapsulated in super boldies.
Yeah, swear we don't like super boldies. Because we have a get out of jail free card with the boldies. So usually if you have any white patches, it's going to be the prosthetic isn't fully glued down there. And there's like an air bubble. It could also be Prosaide that hasn't dried. But in my experience, if it's that kind of muted, like white, it's usually just an air bubble. If it's white, it could be Prosaide. So I do think it's important to take time with edges just to make sure you get the best possible result. Cool, I think that should be good. The other spots are close enough to the edge that I don't think they're gonna cause us any problems. This is what you want it to look like. Let's zoom in. Woo! All right. And then you kind of see here, it's looking pretty uniform in color. All right, we're gonna blend off the cap plastic now using just a teensy bit of acetone. So what I like to do is run it along the flashing first and then break this. So you have two ends to hold and just gently pull it away as you run your brush with a little bit of acetone right along that edge. So focus on getting the flashing off first and then making the edges pretty is secondary. And then for the edges, just try and keep as far away as you can from that silicone edge, and you can just gently soften any edges that need it, but just don't go too close to the silicone, because silicone does not dissolve. You don't want to see a bad side. She will hold a grudge. So I'm just doing this lightly because I'm also going to get Prosaide around the edge. And then, yeah, back this way. Cheers! All right.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Woo! So we're going to get some Prosaide Cream now. Keep that hygienic. I'm going to get a little bit of torn up makeup sponge. Get some tweezers so we don't get glue on our fingers. And we're just going to stipple a really thin amount of Prosaide Cream around the edge. The other thing is not something you have to do, but it's just something that guarantees a nicer edge and also means that the prosthetic usually sticks down for longer around the edges. Now we're going to seal that sticky edge and mattify both the Prosaide and the cap plastic, which is shinier than the skin, by using a Mattifying Sealer by Bluebird. Just gonna put a little drop in here. You don't need much. So mix it in with 50% alcohol just to make it thinner and spreadable. And we'll just put a light layer of this over everywhere that we put that matte sealer. Because if you have a perfect edge and a perfect color match, but there's a shininess, it's going to give away your edge as well. Cool, perfect. Okay, and then we're going to color match the skin. This is so really close actually. I don't think we're going to need any of our usual dark flesh tones. I reckon we can get away with just a couple of little skin tone adjusting ones just to break up. Let's do a little bit of blue. Do a little bit of pastel yellow, and we'll do a little bit of maybe these two pinks combined. We'll start with the blue and use my chip brush. So I like spattering on colors of a chip brush. Ooh, where are you? There you are. Just like we'll break up the color, do it really translucently. It will look like skin tone. If we've got really like translucent washes of like broken up color across the prosthetic. Trying to mimic the broken up colors that you get on your own skin. So we've got a really light mix of the cool tone blue. You can see there's not a lot of color in that. And we will spatter that over the top. Maybe we will need a tiny bit of the yellow actually. I think I want a little bit of the warm flesh tone. Dark flesh tone. So let's do just a tiny bit of the golden ochre, which is this color here. And again, we'll keep it very translucent. So if you're doing it on something that's between the front and the back of the hand, or the arm, the back of the arm's usually going to have more sun and be a little bit darker. So you have to color each side slightly differently. So definitely add more tan coloring on this side. If you put too much down and get big drops, you can just pat it back. All right, and rotate for me. Thanks. All right, and back that way. I want to do a little bit of espresso with a tiny bit of this coral blue mixed in, just to make it less orangey. And oops, this is gonna be quite dark, so I'm just gonna do a tiny bit, just to darken some areas. Just do a tiny bit around the palm. Just a tiny bit. Yes, I came a little closer. Cool. Let's do the pastel yellow as our little highlight color. I'll just clean out those darker tones from my brush. All right. You want like big watery drops of the highlight color. So you can get that by making sure there's lots of alcohol in the brush and then going from a far away place and back over again. Awesome. Thanks. It's looking close. All right, let's do a little bit of pink. I'm feeling like a mix of the light mauve with a little bit of the DT blush in there. I'm keeping it quite light. And rotate over. So it's looking probably pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, let's call it on that coloring, and I'm going to keep the Complexions palette to do in the stitches. Let's get out a reference photo. So let's keep it fairly simple. I'm going to do dark mauve inside the stitches and inside the little open cut area. I might even actually use a smaller brush than that. When you say inside, I mean like just on the inside, and don't want to go too far into the skin around it. Let's get this little tiny baby brush.
That is small.
Yeah, a little detail brush. And we can pat it to soften it if we need to. Especially if it gets on that skin. Probably go through and clean that up as well afterwards, but get these two cuts. All right, let's get a little tiny fluffy brush like this and some alcohol to just soften all this. It's like a blending brush for eyeshadow basically, but we're gonna do it for the coloring. And rotate that way a little bit, thanks. I'm going to use some of the red rum from the Complexion palette, the blood tone. I'm going to do the same thing, but maybe just more quickly and brush it off. Just make sure my brush stays clean so I don't smear too much blood-colored alcohol paints everywhere. Now I want to add just traces of there having been some bleeding because I want it to be quite fresh. Before I do that, I'm just going to mattify some of these edges with a cream mattifying product this time. So this is Scottys Liquid Powder Shine Eliminator. I'm using cream just so that it does not disturb. And the alcohol paints below. Cool, that's looking better, more matte. Now for blood, I'm going to do a little bit of Fleet Street first. I have just a little bit of dried blood around. Just a tinsy bit. Just to make these fresher. This is an alcohol-based blood, so it will completely dry down. So I'm going to use that same brush I was using before, and we'll put little bits inside these wounds. So it's got like little bits of dried blood in there. Not everywhere, but just in some places. And then we'll put some dried bits elsewhere as well. Put a little bit in these bits too. All right, so let's just do some kind of random bits around, and especially these open bits here. Probably suit it, and we'll just let it dry down, and then after it's dry, we will wipe away a little bit just to leave little traces of blood. Cool, so it'll look kind of messy for now, but we'll give it a minute. Wipe it back. Should be looking nice. All right, now that we've given it time to dry, you can wipe away most of it and just leave little traces of blood. Especially because we got good edges and a good color match. We don't want it to be crazy bloody, but just have like the evidence that it was bloody. And just have really just subtle little trace amounts of blood around. Because it's almost like, I feel like you could put blood all over something, wipe away 99% of it, and you could still tell that there was blood all over it, versus it being, never having had blood, never having had it being wiped away, it looks different. Some of my stitches are coming undone. I'm never going to become a surgeon. People's stitches just be popping open.
Let's use staples.
Yeah, just do staples. Cool. And I might add just a tinsy bit of fresh blood as well. Rob Smith's Arterial.
It's like I've just walked out of emergency room.
Yeah, exactly. Let me just mop that one up a little bit. Fresh. Just put a little bit around these guys. Just gonna make this one a little bit messy as well, and then do the same thing and mop up the majority of it. A little bit of water definitely helps with this step too. But yeah, I think that looks good. I might just do one last coat with the mattifier. Just over a couple of areas. Just to make sure, just do a light coating. And this is how the makeup looks when it's finished. So yeah, do a little bit of you're moving around. This is capturing all of your hand and half your forearm, and then I'll do a zoomed in version for details in a second. Yeah, nice, that looks cool. I like it. And then I'm gonna do a close up shot. Let me zoom in. Of course, this is, yeah, nice and close. And bring your hand this way a little bit. Yeah, exactly, perfect. Oh yeah, this angle's cool. I like this angle. Yeah, nice edges. Way better than the big guy that I applied before. So I thought good days and bad days, but this is like a good night and okay afternoon. They do a good application and a bad application on the same day. That shouldn't be legal. All right, rotate it towards me.
Boom.
Nice.
Just happened.
Boom. Yeah, beautiful. Very cool, Kanye. Thank you.